We've already so
I'll take it.
it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. This is the Iroquois County Board monthly meeting. Can the clerk call the roll, please?
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Present.
Crow.
Present.
Curtis.
Here.
Ducat.
Yep.
Hughes.
Yep.
Johnson. Lynch. McGinnis.
Here.
McTaggart. Awful. Here. Penny. Sure.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Zumwalt.
Present.
This is awful.
Yes, today we have Pastor Bart Custer from Trinity Evangelical Church. We'll start with her.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, your word says to us that we should call upon you in the day of trouble, and you will deliver us. Heavenly Father, we confess that we do live in a day of trouble with lots to consider. Lord, we, as we think about political divisions, Lord, as we think about the effects of COVID in our communities, in our families, we confess that these things are too big for us, and we need you. Lord, we pray that you would be with us, that you would watch over us in our towns, in our county. Lord, that you would watch over our schools, our teachers, and our students. Lord, we pray for your protection and for your healing. God, we need you, and we know that you are big enough to do this. Lord, as this board meets today, as they discuss, as they plan, as they make decisions, Lord, I pray that you would grant them wisdom and unity in their decision making. Father, for all these things, we trust you. We pray it in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a copy of the revised agenda in front of you. Do we have a motion to approve it? Mr. Ducat, second by Mr. Hughes. Are there any questions or comments regarding the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Everyone's been sent a copy of the minutes from the August meeting. We have a motion to approve those minutes. Mr. Bauer. Is there a second? Mr. Ducat. Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next is payroll. You were sent a copy of the payroll for August. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Young. Is there a second? Mr. Ducat. Are there any questions or comments regarding the payroll? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bard.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bowman. Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes. Public comments. Do we have any public comments this morning? Seeing none, we'll move to the chairman comments. It's become somewhat of a tradition here that when an elected official retires, that we honor them with a award of their service and so forth. So we have such an opportunity today. You all have a copy of a resolution in front of you to that regard, and I move for the adoption of that resolution.
So moved.
This is lawful seconds. Are there any questions or comments regarding the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sorry. Barron,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crowe, Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yeah.
Hughes,
Yes.
Johnson, oh, sorry, McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt, Bard.
Yes.
Sheriff Hagan, would you please come to the front of the room, please? This is a resolution of appreciation for exemplary service. It says, whereas Derek Hagan has served faithfully and with honor for approximately 29 years in law enforcement, of which 24 years have been with the Iroquois County Sheriff's Office. And whereas he served as an Iroquois County Correctional Officer from November 92 through October 93. Whereas he served as a police officer for the Urbana Police Department from November of 93 through March of 94. Whereas he served as an Iroquois County deputy from April of 94 through September of 98. And whereas he has served as a Champaign County deputy from October 98 through November 02. Whereas he was appointed as undersheriff in Iroquois County beginning on December 1, 2002. Whereas he was elected as Iroquois County Sheriff for the first time in November 2 of 2010 and has been elected 3 separate times. Whereas his distinguished service to the county represents the best tradition of excellence, dedication to duty, and competence in office. Now therefore, the Iroquois County Board takes this occasion to commend him for his exemplary service to Iroquois County and extends to him the county's best wishes for further success and happiness. Sheriff?
Thank you very much. As I made mention when I announced that I was going to be retiring, it is bittersweet. 29 years almost, 29 years of my 51 years on this earth have been in law enforcement. And as you can tell from the resolution, I've moved around a little bit. I can do nothing but just thank the employees and the coworkers that I've had over the years. They're the ones that have made it what it is. There is a good group of dedicated and capable law enforcement personnel at the Sheriff's Office, and I know that it's going to continue to move forward. I just, again, thank you very much for this, and I'm still going to be in the community, so I'll still be around, but I want to thank the board for our working relationship. Sometimes it hasn't always been smooth, but I look at that sometimes if there's a little disagreement on an issue, maybe it's the right decision that's made if both sides are a little bit unhappy with it. So, and the citizens of Iroquois County, they put their faith in me on 3 different occasions, and it's been nothing but a pleasure on my part to serve them and to lead the Sheriff's Office. So, like I said, it's going to move forward. We've got a great sheriff that's going to step in and take my place and continue to move it forward. But thank you very much.
15 days, 15 hours, and about 50 minutes.
Well,
I know you got it right down to the second.
what's funny is on my phone, it beeps at me every day at 6 a.m. And as of right now, my 15 days, 14 hours.
Okay, we'll move on to outside organization reports. Angel Crawford.
Good morning, Chairman, members board and guests. I'm Amy Crawford, Executive Director with the Iroquois Economic Development Association. As you might be aware, on August 11th, the Illinois Department of Economic Opportunity launched the B2B, or Back to Business Grant Program, to accelerate small business recovery. B2B seeks to restore operational losses incurred during COVID-19. B2B will provide grants ranging in sizes from $5,000 to $150,000. Of course, this would be proportional to the amount of losses experienced. Numerous businesses throughout Iroquois County have called our office asking for more information on this program. So here's a quick overview. To be considered for a grant, here are the eligibility requirements. Number 1, must be a small business in Illinois with the annual revenue of no more than $20 million in 2019. Number 2, must have experienced a drop in revenue from 2019 to 2020 at least $5,000 due to COVID-19. Number 3, must have been operating during or before December 2019. Number 4, this is the documents you're going to have to be able to provide. A copy of the 2019 and 2020 federal tax filing. Businesses need to sign a W-9, and nonprofits, which is a 501c6, 501c3, and 501c19, need to sign a 1099. Business owners need a tax identification number, or TIN. For nonprofits, you'll need the name of the president or the nonprofit. 1 monthly business bank statement from March to December 2020 that reflects operational expenses. Applications will be taken through October 11th. The main contact or hub to answer the questions about this program for Iroquois County or nonprofits is the Champaign Regional Economic Development Corporation. I just spoke with the Executive Director, Carmen McCory, yesterday, and she said they are opening up office hours this week. Any business or nonprofit needing assistance can call their office at 217-359-6261. Businesses or nonprofits are welcome to contact our office at 815-432-0072, and we'll be able to assist them with information about this program. And in closing, I wanted to highlight the reopening of the Best Supermarket in Onarga. The new owner, Sobna Patel, reached out to our office last week to inquire about the B2B program. The store is remodeled and looking greater than ever. So be sure to stop by while in Onarga. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Crawford? Seeing none, Ted, you had something?
Just an update from the 708 Community Mental Health Board. We met August 30th, and the normal, review the meetings. We'll have Dr. Hopkins gave a report about IMHC. The main part of the meeting was we received 2 grant applications. Back in May, we approved a grant to eligible entities of $585,000 and requested proposals, which we received 2. One was from the Iroquois Mental Health Center asking for $585,000. Another was from the Eligibility Recovery Solutions asking for $200,000. The board voted to approve $300,000 to Iroquois Mental Health Center, and then we have another meeting September 27th where we invited the Addiction Recovery to come down. The meeting's going to be here in the boardroom at 5 p.m. the board wanted to hear more about their proposal, they had questions. And so that's the next meeting to hear and decide whether or not we will grant their application. Any questions?
That meeting on the 27th is open.
It's open to the public. It's a public meeting, so it's here in the room.
The thing that we'd have to be careful of, we don't have too many board members here that we.
Well, the way it would be ran is via public comment, just like any other committee, so we would manage that piece. But listen to the advice.
The reason I bring it up is because a
Yes.
number of years ago, we did have a situation where we had too many board members at a similar meeting.
Yes, yes. It's 708 community health board members, if you do come to listen. If you're asking questions, it needs to be done during public comment. Or we open up for the public to ask questions. Just, you don't have a say in the sense of what we decide. So, that may be clarification.
If there's any other questions, you might check with the
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other outside organization reports this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on to the committee report. Members of the county board, your committee to whom would refer policy and procedure would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 2, 2021 at 9 a.m. Members present were Scher, Alt, Bard, and Alford. Lyle Barron, Michael McTaggart, and Joe Young were absent. Also present, Finance Manager Joe Johnson, County Clerk Leanne Suber, County Engineer Joe Moore, EMA Director Eric Stacy, Tim Drury was listening tonight. Meeting was called to order. Was moved by Bard and seconded by Alpha to approve the agenda. That motion carried by a roll call vote. There were no public comments. The committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Health Chairman also reported the Health Committee will hear their regular reports from the Health Department. Tax Planning and Zoning Chairman Bard reported the committee will hear their standard reports. The committee will also be voting on a resolution opposing the expansion of the Kankakee National Wildlife Refuge and Conservation Area by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Highway Chairman Alt and County Engineer Joel Moore report the Highway Committee will receive their monthly reports and have a letting for Leonard Road. Finance Committee will discuss the police service contract with Gilman. EMA Director Eric Stacy reported a local emergency planning committee meeting was held on August 5. They are working on organizing a tabletop exercise concerning flammable liquids. Tracy has attended webinars related to hazard mitigation funding opportunities. On August 12th, Tracy attended the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Regional 7 meeting in Urbana. Tracy supplied mutual aid in Gibson City for the flash flooding that occurred. Tracy attended a mutual aid box alarm system meeting on August 25 in Danville. Continues working on the hazard mitigation plan. The next LEPC meeting is scheduled for September 28th. Committee continued discussion regarding county board redistricting. County Clerk Leanne Suber provided 9 different map options for the committee to review. County Board Chairman Scher explained the maps as follows. Proposal 1 is the existing map in place. Proposal 2 will split Middleport Township and Belmont Township. Scher said he believes it is best to keep these townships together. Proposal 3, remove Voda Township from District 2 and exchange it for Iroquois Township and Crescent Township in District 3. Proposal 4 splits Middleport Township and Belmont Township. There would also be 7 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 4. Proposal 5 also splits Middleport Township and Belmont Township. There would also be 7 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 2. Proposal 6 splits Middleport Township and Belmont Township. There would also be 7 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 2. Proposal 7, there would be 7 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 3. Proposal 8 splits Middleport Township and Belmont Township. There would also be 6 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 4. Proposal 9 splits Middleport Township and Belmont Township. There would also be 7 existing county board members running for 4 seats in District 4. Your statement the districts currently in place meet the requirements. You suggest that the committee select from map number 1 or map number 3. It was moved by Bard and seconded by Alpha to recommend approval of map number 3. A roll call vote was taken and motion carried. Finance Manager Joe Johnson gave an update on the sexual harassment training. They're at an 82% completion rate so far. Employees can take the training online or another in-person training can be scheduled. Johnson spoke to the committee about the use of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds. The act was signed into law March 11, 2021. There is $350 billion allocated for state and local recovery efforts. Iroquois County has been awarded $5,266,577. We have already received the first installment. Johnson suggested a subcommittee be formed to revise and finalize any policies that are created. The funds are limited as to how the county can use them due to not showing the revenue loss, but the funds can be distributed to other businesses, entities, and municipalities. The committee continued to review the Iroquois County Personnel Manual. The changes are as follows. Beginning on page 81 to page 120, change all areas that read County Board Office to County Board Executive Assistant unless otherwise stated. Policy 1032, leave medical section 2, change wording to read make, it should be, the employee ineligible for rehire. Section 4, item C, language should read the department head or supervisor will make the final decision. Section 4, number D, omit if the request is approved. Policy 1033, leave of absence military, section 2, combine paragraph 6 and 8 in regards to reinstatement. Jim Drury with West McKnight suggested adding in care language to policy 1034, leave of absence 6. He will send more information to Johnson for review. Policy 1035, leave of absence for victims, economic security and safety act. Mr. Drury said this policy should be concurrent with the VESA Act. He will verify this. Policy 1036, meal break, section 2, revise unpaid meal break from 1/2 hour to 1 hour. Revise the last sentence of the paragraph to read, if the meal break is interrupted by the necessity to return to work, the meal period becomes work time and will be paid or given comp time. Policy 1041, paycheck garnishment. Section 4B, verify with State Attorney Jim Devine about the holding period of wage garnishment once the employee is no longer employed. Also remove the answer of garnishment form from the manual. Policy 1042, paid age pay period, section 3A, revised to read, it is the responsibility of the department head or supervisor to make all employees aware of the policy and to enforce it equally. Policy 1046, personnel records, section 4E, add computer use policy to the document list. Policy 1048, problem resolution. Mr. Drury recommended removing this policy from the manual as it doesn't seem necessary. Policy 1051, resignation. Combine this policy with policy 1016, employment separation. Policy 1052, return of property, remove policy. Policy 1053, safety standards, section 4, change the county board office to county clerk office. Policy 1054, sexual harassment. Mr. Drury will compare this policy with the newest policy in place. Tuesday, September 14th, chair intends to appoint the new sheriff at the county board meeting. Sheriff Derek Hagan resigns September 30th. The new sheriff will be sworn in the next day. Sheriff was concerned about the lack of a sheriff during that lapse of time. Silver explained that Hagan assigned a designee, which automatically names the designee as sheriff regardless of being sworn in. Correspondence was reviewed with the committee. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Alton, seconded by Awful to approve the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken, that motion carried. There was no old business. During new business, Chair discussed the current animal control issue. Decisions will need to be made as to how the board wants to handle the program going forward. Some ideas are to establish a department to house dogs and cats that are picked up, or to start a shelter of our own. We have 2 wardens that are handling cases as they come along, but there is nowhere to house the animals at this time. One option is to make an addition to the maintenance shed. Former animal control director, Dr. Yusuf, has offered to sell the county his building for $120,000. Sheriff said he is reluctant to make this purchase due to its location in the floodplain. Arrangements have been made with Ford County and Kankakee County to assist us with fight cases. Lastly, the Animal Control Act requires we have an animal control administrator. The administrator does not have to be a veterinarian. Sheriff is temporarily appointing Johnson as the administrator with more details to follow. If there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Bard to adjourn 11:34 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for its adoption. Is there a second? Mrs. Awful seconds. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, call a roll, please.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Okay, next on your packet in front of you, a resolution appointing Clinton J. Proceed to fill a vacancy. Derek W. Hagan, Iroquois County Sheriff. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. It's self-explanatory, I believe. There are motions to approve the resolution. Mr. Bowers, second by Mr. Duquette. Are there any questions or comments regarding the resolution? Seeing none, would you call the roll, please?
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat, Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Congratulations, Fred.
Thank you.
Copy signed of the resolution after the meeting for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have two of the ordinance on the, what you have in front of you regarding the maps. There's a map showing the map that was approved at the Policy and Procedure Committee, which, as I said in the minutes, effectively takes Florida Township from District 2 and exchanges it for Iroquois Township and Crescent Township in District 3. Otherwise, everything remains the same. So we have a motion to approve that resolution. Mrs. Dawson, is there a second? Mr. Curtis, are there any questions about the map? I would point out that the reason for choosing this map instead of the one that is existing is that it does bring the total population in each district a little bit closer together. Both the map for District 1 and District 3 meet the state requirements as far as how the population is distributed, but this one does bring the population in each district a little more closely aligned with each other. That's probably the main reason for choosing it over the maps that we have right now. And I went through all the other maps that were presented for consideration that I felt, the committee felt were not as suitable as this one. Anybody else have any questions or comments regarding this? Not, let's call a roll.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Grow, Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful, Sure, Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
carried.
Okay, management services, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee approves the management services, that meets the following report on matters before us. Your committee met the administrative courthouse. Number 8, 2021, 1 p.m. Members present were Barron, Paul, Bowman, Utah, Newmall. All hours Terry Johnson were absent. Also present were county board chairman John Kerr, finance manager Joe Johnson, maintenance supervisor Chris Drake, maintenance director Eric Raymond, county board member John Rose, Joe Young. Meeting was called to order. It was by Paul Peacock, second by Kevin Bowman, to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Maintenance supervisor Chris Drake report included the following. D&D Enterprises is working with the health department to put everything health department related on generator power. All work is being paid for by the health department. All 7 boilers were serviced. Precision pipe tested and recertified. All backflow preventers. Heat pump issues were handled. In mid-August, USDA reported water in their server room. This resulted in tiles delaminating and water under the walls and carpet. Pro is doing the repairs. The claim is from tiles of insurance company. Craig says tile in the server room has to be static conductive floor tile and is approximately $2,000. He will keep us updated on the status of the repairs. Craig was contacted by Centrica, formerly Smart Watt, power purchase agreement solar project. The committee received 1 soil testing bid from Proactive Consulting in the amount of $7 per billable acre for $2,782.29. The bid for services includes the following: GPS soil sampling completed on 3.3 acre grids, soil testing analysis completed in their laboratory located in Illinois, soil analysis of pH, phosphate, potassium, organic matter, cation exchange capacity, detailed recommendations for 2022 through 2024 crop years. Mapping and spread file MBRT export email to fertilizer retailer of choice is moved by John Duval, second by Bowman, to accept the soil testing bid from ProAg Consultants. The roll call vote was taken, motion carried. 911 Director Eric Raymond discussed the installation of the security gate in the server room for 911. The other option considered was building a wall which amounted to approximately $1,500. However, he voted for the security gate at a considerably lesser amount of $2,500. Project is fully funded by ETSP, is moved by Bowman, second by Utah, to approve the installation of security gates and carried by a voice vote. Discussion was held on animal control needs. Planning Board Chairman John Scher reported former animal control director, Dr. Yusuf, has resigned and retired. His facility is currently for sale. For the Animal Control Act, the Animal Control Administrator does not need to be a veterinarian. Scher has temporarily appointed Finance Manager Jill Johnson as the Administrator. Scher suggested the following options to move forward. Purchase Dr. Yusuf's current facility at $120,000. He noted the building is in a floodplain and he doesn't believe this is a good investment for the county. Purchase another building in the area, approximately 900 square feet with water and electricity, or build a facility on our property, such as adding one to the maintenance shed or adding to the administrative center. Scher is assigning the responsibility of these decisions to the management committee. At this time, no funds are budgeted for the above mentioned items. Johnson distributed a layout of those facilities with 8 kennels plus office space and a restroom. She also provided the committee with information on shelter design from the Humane Society. County pays $1,500 per month to the animal hospital for services. Sure added that constructing a new building would allow the opportunity for putting an adoption shelter in place in the future if the county chooses to do so. Due to our current situation, there is nowhere for our wardens to take the animals that are picked up. The arrangement has been made with Yankee County Animal Control and Ford County Animal Control to handle rabies and bite cases. Sure suggested a subcommittee be formed to look into the necessary items. Barron's Ducal will serve on the subcommittee. Committee reviewed the claims that was moved by Zumwalt, seconded by Ducal, to take claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote taken, motion carried. During old business, Walt requested an update on the Head Start playground equipment. Barron stated the equipment was there before Head Start, therefore it is not there to remove. But Eagle Park District or other park boards can be contacted to see if they are interested in the equipment. Another option is holding an auction to sell the equipment. Also during old business, Barron confirmed with Drake that snow removal is being handled in-house again this year. County Board Member Donna Crowe addressed the aspect of fostering and adopting out dogs. He said this matter has been discussed in the past and was voted down due to liability issues. So there was no further business to come before the committee. It's moved by Ducal, seconded by Bowman, to adjourn at 1:53 p.m. Motion carried. All those in respectfully submitted, and I move for adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the management committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Hughes, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Crowe,
No.
Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Hughes, McGinnis,
Yes.
Waffle, Scher,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Bowman. Sorry, Bowers,
Yes.
Stoner,
No. Okay, Health Committee, Mrs. Awful.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred health with paid leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 7, 2021 at 9:05 a.m. Members present were Barb Alco, Roger Bard, Ernie Curtis, and John Zumwalt. Kevin Kokenar and Thomas Lynch were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, ICPHD Administrator Dee Shippert, and IEDA Director Angel Crawford. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Roger Barton, seconded by John Zumwalt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Ernie Curtis to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. County Board Chairman John Sherwood for Dr. Newsom has resigned as the Animal Control Director effective July 30th. The Management Committee will be discussing the following options. Purchase after use of building. The building has been offered to the county for $120,000, but it is located in a floodplain. Water has never entered the building, but if there is a flood, the building is isolated. Locate a building for temporary use, approximately 900 square feet of water and electricity. Erect our own building, possibly by the maintenance shed. Sure has appointed finance manager Jill Johnson as animal control administrator. The Animal Control Act requires an administrator, but they do not have to be a veterinarian. Arrangements have also been made with Ford County and Kankakee County to assist with animal cases. Sure that Illinois has a shortage of veterinarians, and finding a replacement for Dr. Yusuf has been difficult. ICPHD Administrator D. Shepard stressed the need to have a veterinarian due to rabies cases that need process. Sure explained that Dr. Updike in Paxton and Kankakee County has agreed to help with the rabies cases. Johnson spoke to the committee about the U of I Payroll tax day. Animal Control Warden Melinda Brevard was contacted by a citizen who has 6 feral cats that she would like to get spayed or neutered. The U of I is holding 6 spots for this person, but they require the county animal control administrator or veterinarian sign off that these are feral cats and not house cats. Brevard has verified these cats are feral. This is at no cost to the county. It was moved by Zumwalt, seconded by Barr, to approve the request to participate in the U of I Feral Cat Day. Motion carried by a voice vote. Shepherd discussed the emergency senior services grant that is available to any Iroquois County resident aged 6 years old. There are no income eligibility requirements. This grant assists with purchasing groceries, medications, medical supplies, and other items that will help residents remain in their home and out of a long-term care facility. Shepherd reviewed the summer report and programs with the committee. Environmental health issued 43 food inspections and 9 temporary permits were issued. There were 16 water sample kits tested. Community health reported 182 childhood immunizations. There were 3 animal bites. All bites were dog-related. A bird in Iroquois County has tested positive for West Nile, but no mosquitoes have tested positive. 3 Lyme disease cases were investigated, 1 case being positive. Shepherd reported the following statistics on COVID-19. 3,757 total cases, 3,133 confirmed, 626 probable. 3,460 have been released, 217 on home isolation, 13 in the hospital, 67 deaths of COVID-19. Approximately 37% of Iroquois County is fully vaccinated. This amounts to 10,593 people being vaccinated. Bard asked for the status of the booster shot. Shepherd explained the health department is giving 3rd doses, but they are not considered a booster. Shots are available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 3:30 p.m. Appointments are preferred. Lastly, Shepherd distributed the health department 2020 annual report to the committee. There was no old business, there was no new business, as there was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Bard and seconded by Zumwalt to adjourn at 9:54. Motion carried by 8 votes.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Health Committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Curtis, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Curtis?
Yes.
Ducat?
Yes.
Hughes? Dennis?
Yes.
Awful? Yes. Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Bard?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Woolman?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Okenauer?
Yes.
Crowe?
Okay, Tax Planning and Zoning Committee, Mr. Bard.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, your committee to whom was referred tax/zoning would vaguely submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 2nd, 2021 at 10 a.m. Members present were Bard, Zumo, Curtis, and Awful. Kokenauer and Lynch were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Treasurer Kurt Albers, County Secretary and Supervisor of Assessments Bob Biergler, IDA Director Angel Crawford, and David Treese of the Fort County Farm Bureau. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Awful and seconded by Zumo to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Zumo and seconded by Awful to play the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Brian Suber reported her office continues to work on the voter registration card purge. They are also working on the referendum that should appear on the ballot for the next election. Lastly, they are updating the records disposal certificate in an effort to make room in the storage room. County Treasurer Kurt Albers reported second installment property taxes are due today. The tax sale is October 25th. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Biergler reported his office is working on assessment year 2021. Deputy Clerk Daniel Bolmer has returned from maternity leave. The Planning and Zoning report for August was distributed to the committee as follows. Building permits, August 2021. Agricultural 1, residential 5, wind tower 0. Building permits, fiscal year 2021. Residential 68, agricultural 14, wind tower 0. Building inspections, August 2021, 46. Discussion on building permits, enforcement, fines, and penalties was tabled until the next meeting. Zumo spoke about the National Wildlife Refuge. The resolution opposing Refuge was brought into the committee for their review and approval. Zumo explains the Refuge affects the drainage on the farmland next to it. It would cause loss of tax revenue and loss of control by local townships to maintain roads and bridges. The intended footprint for the refuge is 28 square miles in Kankakee and 6 square miles in the northeast part of Iroquois County. County Board Chairman John Scher offered suggested changes in the proposed resolution. Scher also suggested items be included with the resolution, such as Kankakee County's opposing resolution and the soil health report for the Kankakee River provided by the Isaac Walton League of America. It was moved by Zumo and seconded by Awful to approve the resolution opposing the expansion of the Kankakee National Wildlife Refuge and Conservation Area by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, including changes made by the County Board Chairman John Scher. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Continued discussion was held on the publication of rural homesteads. IDA Director Angel Crawford spoke to the committee, advertising locally and through the website. She also suggested reaching out to individuals that own the ground and informing them of their options. Further discussions will need to be held to finalize those decisions. Suber presented a monthly resolution list showing 12 parcels being sold by the county trustee at the sealed bid auction in July. The total amount the county will be receiving is $12,293.50. It was moved by Zumo and seconded by Ernie Curtis to approve the resolutions authorizing the sale of properties that were sold at the trustees' tax auction of surplus property. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no old business. There is no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Alderman, seconded by Zumo, to adjourn at 10:30 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its approval.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Tax, Zoning, and Planning Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Hughes, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? I would point out that when you vote to approve the report, you'll also be voting to approve the resolution opposing the Kankakee Fish and Wildlife Service, and also the resolution for the property brought forth by the county clerk. If there's no further questions, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Ducat,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Present.
Awful, Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumal,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Okenauer,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Okay, Judicial and Public Safety, Mr. Behrens.
Chairman, members of the county board, the committee approves judicial and public safety respectively one report of matters before them. Your committee minutes for September 8, 2021, 3 p.m. Members present were Barron, Utah, Barr, Crowe, Hughes, and Gibbs. David Penny was absent. Also present, county board chairman, John Schur, finance manager, Joe Johnson, Sheriff Derek Hagan, deputy Christopher Z, probation supervisor Barb Mead, circuit clerk Lisa Knight, and director Eric Raymond, and county board members Charlie Hall and Joe Young. Meeting was called to order, moved by Paul Dupas, seconded by Steve Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. There were no public comments. Probation supervisor Barb Mead reviewed the probation services activity report for August with the committee. Dean also submitted an additional claim for tip to scale that is paid from the state's attorney Dean Court Fund for the committee's approval. Tip to scale is doing silverware packets with their logo on it for the Super Saturday in Gilman this weekend. Sheriff Derek Hagan reported on the ongoing discussions with Gilman about police services. The meeting was held last Wednesday with Hagan, Deputy Clint Brzee, County Board Chairman John Schur, Mayor Rick Beachfield of Gilman, and an alderman of Gilman. Hagan said the meeting was very productive and there were some tentative numbers agreed upon. That will be presented at the Finance Committee meeting on Thursday. This includes hiring a deputy and providing 40 hours a week coverage in Gilman. Gilman will cover 85% of the cost of salary, benefits, and equipment. The county will pay the remaining 15%. Mayor Beachfield has said he has no issues with the Gilman contract for responding to calls outside of the Gilman area. Based upon a recommendation from the Finance Committee, Hagan will move forward with getting contracts prepared. Hagan said contracts could be in place within 60 to 90 days. There have been no updates on Nargo requesting police services. As far as new hire for the position, Hagan said he is looking into a lateral transfer. This would be a deputy that is currently employed at another agency that has already gone through the certification in Illinois. The benefits of the lateral transfer include shortening the amount of training time from more than 14 weeks down to about 4 weeks. The deputy would also learn our geography and policy and procedures. In addition to police service contract, Gilman has other equipment the county may be interested in purchasing. Their 3-year-old squad car is a Ford Explorer with 26,000 miles and is fully equipped. They're also looking to sell laptops, tasers, and shotguns. These items are not currently budgeted. Megan said sure may be in favor of using public safety funds. Contract options include a 1-year contract with an automatic renewal clause for the second year. Megan proposed salary amount for a 5-year deputy, but the individual he would like to hire does not have 5 years experience. In this case, the 3rd year of the contract would need to be renegotiated as far as salary and benefits. The deputy would be a member of the Fraternal Police Bargaining Unit. Deputy Clint Frazee spoke to the committee about job shadowing with Hagan over the past couple of weeks in preparation for the appointment of sheriff next month. Frazee will also be attending the finance meeting on Thursday and has been involved with the police service contract discussions with Gilman. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report for August to the committee for their review. A total of $55,055.39 was received in fines and fees. $4,923.90 was received from credit collection partners, and $1,575.87 was received from iDrop. 911 Director Eric Raymond distributed his ETSD report to the committee. There was no old business, there was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Ducal, seconded by Hughes, to pay the judicial public safety claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Ducal and seconded by Hughes to adjourn the meeting at 3:29 p.m. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. All which is respectfully submitted, and I move for adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Judicial and Public Safety Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Ducat, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Apple,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kuchenauer,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat.
Okay, Finance Committee, Mr. Alt. Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee, to whom was referred to finance with big leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administration Center on September 9th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Members present were all Bowers, Curtis, Hughes, Young, McTaggart, and Johnson were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Sure, Finance Manager Bill Johnson, County Clerk Ringen Suber, Sheriff Derek Hagan, Deputy Clint Frazee, 911 Director Eric Raymond, County Board Member Don Crowe, John Brookwood, and Brian McNamara with Jano Technologies, Myron Runyon, and Joey Samuelson with Compass Insurance, Susie Warner and Brenna Carpenter with Home Star Insurance, Josh Garrett with Blue Cross Blue Shield, Tim Curry and Frank Henson with Bliss Knight, and Todd Greer with Illinois County's Risk Management Trust. The meeting was called to order. It's moved by Steve Hughes and seconded by Paul Bowers to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. During the public comments, County Board Chairman John Sure reminded everyone about the recycling event being held on Saturday, September 11th at the Big R parking lot. John Rolfe and Brian McNair with Judicial Technology gave a presentation to the committee about their services. Judicial Technology specialized in helping county offices with IT infrastructure. They are located in Champaign, Illinois, and have 10 counties using their case management software solutions. Their goal is to help county courthouses integrate securely by ensuing all technology choices, planning and compliance risks are examined before business decisions are made. They're looking to simplify processes and technology automation, everything, and make sure security, everyone's responsibility. Health insurance bid was opened as follows. Loman Ray, Health Alliance, current plan $556 per month. Employment only $1,086 a month. Employee plus children $1,024 a month. Employee plus spouse $1,771 per month. Family. Health Alliance, current plan 9.9, renewal rate guaranteed $611 per month. Employee only $794 per month. Employee plus children $725 per month. Employee plus spouse $1,946 per month. Family. Health Alliance alternate number one, 8.83%, $605 per month. Employee only $782 per month. Employees plus children $1,114 per month. Employee plus spouse $1,920. $1,927 per month. Family. Health Alliance alternate number two, 4.7%, $582 per month. Employee only $1,137 per month. Employee plus children $1,072 per month. Employee plus spouse $1,854 per month. Family. Susie Warner with Homestar Insurance Services presented her insurance bid to the committee. Health Alliance current plan 9.92% increase. Health Alliance renewal option 1, 7.92% increase. Change it to the plan includes an increase in co-payments. Health Alliance renewal option 2, 6.85% increase. Change to the plan include an increase in co-payments. Blue Cross Blue Shield 7.92% increase. Change to the plan includes an increase in co-payments. Homestar change charges fee of $60 per hour, not to exceed $20,000 annually. Turner noted this consulting fee has not exceeded $11,000 since becoming the county's broker. Myron Mudgett and Joel Samuelson with Compass Insurance presented their insurance to the committee. Mr. Samuelson explained the rates offered by Health Alliance and Blue Cross Blue Shield are very comparable. Decisions come down to which broker in the county would like to represent them if the county stays with Health Alliance coverage. Encourage the payroll company to take more. They handle all payments and human resources. The 2% discount off the health insurance premium is offered for enrollment. Compass Insurance is also offered portal, which is a benefit registration platform. This portal allows employees to quote paperless during the open enrollment time. Cash credit with Blue Cross Blue Shield presented his insurance bid to the committee. $577.88 per month. Employee only $1,260.72 per month. Employee plus spouse $1,242.16 per month. Employee plus children $1,880.99 per month. Family. This plan is most comparable to the county's current plan with Health Alliance. There is a one-time $25,000 transition credit. This credit will be applied to the second month billing statement for the group to use at their discretion. It's moved by Young and seconded by Hughes to make an informed decision on the health insurance that has been financed. Meeting based upon an overview of all services provided. Motion was carried by a voice vote. Property and casualty insurance bids were open as follows. Compass Insurance Department with the list McKnight. Kim Duray with Bliss McKnight is currently assisting with updating the employee manual. Bliss McKnight has helped the county comply with the laws surrounding sexual harassment and reviewing county policies pertaining to sexual harassment. They continue to provide Illinois state sexual harassment training on site or online. Bliss McKnight has provided new policy requiring new hires due to the recently enacted safety act and the trailer bill. We continue monitoring the ongoing investigation into the death at the jail and working with the jail sheriff staff to provide necessary training for policy revisions. Compass Insurance partners with Illinois County's Risk Management Trust, ICRMT issued 58 of the 102 counties in Illinois. Insures 58 of the 102 counties in Illinois. A quote was made providing for cyber liability, but they are working on this. But not provide. Green with ICRMT said they have a relationship with the United Counties Council of Illinois, UCC. If the county is part of the ICRMT, they would no longer have to pay dues to UCCI. It was moved by Young and seconded by Hughes to make informed decision on property casualty insurance is at the October Finance Committee upon overview of the law to provide motion carried by the school. Department head gave their monthly report. They are as follows: Sheriff Barry Kagan reports there is one correctional officer that has 2 more weeks of training to complete in the 5-week academy. Once the training is complete, all correctional officers will be certified. The new squad car is up and running. Second squad is delayed due to this delay. Hagan requested the order of this new vehicle because it is taking at least 6 months for the new vehicle to arrive. County clerk and Silver required a need for loading equipment purchase in the 2023 budget. It appears the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds will not be available to purchase equipment due to not being able to show a loss of revenue. Election grants are being awarded within the next few weeks. These grants include cyber security and IT needs such as government website, GOV website, and IGOV email addresses. 911 Director Eric Freeman reports the ETSB board had a monthly meeting last night. Freeman said discussions were held on upgrading the CAD software and the possibility of purchasing a new phone system. Finance Manager Jill Johnson discussed the American Rescue Plan Act, ALPA, with the committee. The act was signed into law on March 11, 2021, and the $350 billion allotted for states and local rescue efforts. Iroquois County has been allotted $5,266,566,577, which we have already the first installment. And this for the county or municipalities help different entities this time. Board of Individuals Johnson suggested the subcommittee be formed to manage use of funds. At this time, the funds appear to be able to be used and the county due to not being able to show a loss of revenue. Short agreed. The subcommittee needs to be formed and he plans to announce the committee at the board meeting on Tuesday. Hagan distributed information regarding the proposed 2-year agreement between Iroquois County and the city of Gilman for police services. Gilman has asked the county not to bill them as fees. The contract includes 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. Hagan said, Mayor, Beachville had no issues with the contracting department. Responding to calls outside the Gilman area in an emergency. The total cost to the county would be approximately $12,493. About $7,759 would be paid by Gilman. If the board chooses to move forward, State Attorney Jim Devine and Attorney Gilman are planning for a contract. In addition to the contract, Gilman has equipment they will sell to the county. This equipment includes a 3-year old SUV fully equipped, 26,000 miles, laptops, computers, tasers, and cannon shotguns. Hagan suggests the county purchase this equipment. Also, in terms of the contract was discussed, Hagan said the contract could be a year contract. Both parties to renegotiate after 1 year. You can also include an auto renewal clause in contract. You remove the 1-year contract to allow for adjustments as needed. Sure. Also mentioned the dispatch portion that there is $18,378.85 budget for police services. If the cost for Gilman is reviewed, it will need to be distributed with other agencies. If another town follows suit with Gilman contract service, none of the police department will pay dispatch fees. The suggestion was made at a recent meeting until the township for these fees. Taken will contact Statesville and set another meeting to discuss the item talked about today. Committee continues by this suggestion. Johnson provided an update overview of the general fund showing a positive balance of $70,811. Johnson Treasurer Roberts provides replacement tax revenue. QBC noticed from the state showing we will be receiving $75,000 more than anticipated. Johnson will need to make adjustment for health insurance throughout the annual insurance decided on. Other adjustments to the budget include the following. Johnson's waiting for the budget number for IEA, Director, and Eagle Crawford. Last year, the budget was $17,000. Waiting on the finalization of police service contract. Sheriff portion of the CAD and software system for our house possibly this fiscal year. The health department did submit the budget to Johnson to request $50,000 for property tax levy amount, which is less than their normal request. It was moved by Young and seconded by Hughes to enter into executive session at 9 a.m. under 5 ILCS 120/2, parentheses C, and parentheses 1 in the parentheses. Disappointment, employee compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of special claims. Public body, legal counsel for the public body. Legal counsel for the public body. Motion carried by the vote. Moved by all, second by Young to come out of executive session at 11:25 a.m. Motion carried by the vote. Moved by Bauer, second by Hughes. To appoint finance manager Bill Johnson as interim animal control administration at a monthly rate of $1,250. So the roll call was taken. Motion carried. Sheriff explained the Animal Control Act requires an administrator. Quote administrator and the quote needs a veterinarian's license taken by the state of Illinois. And appointed is actually non-veteran Navy administrator under this act. In the event the administrator is not a veterinary administrator, shall refer to the deputy administrator for regarding all the medical decisions. Review the claims and move the young and 65 hours to pay the finance claims and health claims. Refuge County Board approved. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no old business or no new business. There was no further business coming before the city. Moving of hours a second. Adjourned at 11:30 a.m. Motion carried. All of which is respectfully submitted and offered this report. There's a motion on the floor to approve the Finance Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Duquesne, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mr. Bowman?
I have a couple. I'm just curious how you come up with $12.50 per month.
That's what we've been paying the last administrator. Dr. Yusuf for the Yep.
And what's the, where it says administrator shall defer to the deputy administrator? We pay the deputy administrator too, or?
No, we don't have a deputy administrator at this time. Those costs were listed, I believe, in the budget under the services.
Go ahead, you're done, yeah.
Dr. Yusuf received his salary as the administrator. He received rent for his built premises and so forth, and he also was reimbursed for the veterinarian services that he provided. It was all separate items in the budget.
And they'll receive this pay until we hire somebody. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, I'm just curious because I know when we did planning and zoning and put that with the assessment office, it was way a lot less money than that.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Mr. Coconut.
So if we have to refer medical decisions, who do we refer those to now?
Well, that's the predicament we're in right now. We've made arrangements with Ford County and Kankakee County and rabies and bite cases.
So we're not paying them as of now.
In rabies and bite cases, they'll be paid for their services the same as Dr. Yusuf would have been paid separately for his veterinarian services.
And I've also done a few things with one of the local vets in Iroquois County that we're paying services to. That person is currently not interested in the animal control position, but she has been willing to help us out if needed in emergency situations. So, and then those three entities, they're just invoicing us, and what I'm doing is paying them out of the services line that Dr. Yusuf was previously paid for services.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call a roll, please.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Boswell, Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yeah.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bowman,
No.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis, Ducat, Hughes,
Okay, IT committee, Mr. Young.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your committee to whom I referred IT was able to submit the following report on the matters before it. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 8, 2021 at 11:35 a.m. Members present were Young, Bowers, Hughes, and Sure. Michael McTaggart was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Joe Johnson, County Clerk Reed Zuber, 911 Director Eric Raymond, Michael Tabor with Area Wide, Jeff Manigawa, Ritter Technologies, and County Board Member Charlie Alt. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by John Sure and seconded by Paul Bowers to move the discussion and action on the courthouse phones prior to public comments. Motion carried by a voice vote. Finance Manager Jill Johnson provided the committee with copies of Rooter Technologies' proposal for network cabling and a new phone system at the courthouse. Our current phone system contract is expiring. If the committee chooses to cancel with AT&T and utilize a different provider, the phones will need to be upgraded at the courthouse. Johnson said the phones will need to be upgraded at some point due to their age, and there have been recent issues with the phones not working. River Technologies' proposal includes $20,781.50 for 44 phones, installation, setup, training, and a 1-year parts and labor warranty, plus $6,250 for network cabling. Michael Tabor with Area Wide also mentioned an estimated $8,350 in fees associated with switches on their end. The entire project is projected to be complete within 60 days. With the AT&T contract expiring on October 8th, the committee has the option to pay out contract rates of approximately $7,000 per month for 2 months from the signing 1-year contract. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Hughes to accept proposals from Reader Technologies and Area Wide for the replacement of phones at the courthouse. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There were no public comments. Michael Tabor with Area Wide reported he attended a meeting with the county clerk to discuss grant requirements for cybersecurity. There is a list of items the county clerk's office needs to abide by. Some of the items will incorporate the county's network, such as the .gov domain. DMARC security has been turned on for email services. Tabor said there is only one Windows 7 machine left to be replaced. Area Wide is working with EMA Director Larry CC on the purchase of a smartboard. The cost will be paid for by EMA's budget. Further discussion was held on the phone service contracts. It was moved by Hughes and seconded by Bowers to not renew the telephone contract with AT&T. Motion carried by a voice vote. It was moved by Young and seconded by Bowers to enter into executive session at 12:07 p.m. to review the security risk assessment under statute 5 ILCS 120/2 C8, security procedure, school building safety and security, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, public property. Motion carried by a voice vote. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Hughes to come out of the executive session at 12:25 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Bowers to request Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Rita Suver, and Michael Tabor with Area Wide collaborate together to implement the findings of the security risk assessment as appropriate, bring any action to the IT committee. Motion carried by a voice vote. There was no old business, there was no new business, as there was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Hughes to adjourn at 12:31 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted and under for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the IT committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Zumwalt. Excuse me, are there any questions or comments on the report? Does everyone understand what we're doing with the phone system?
I'll take the question.
Mr. Sacy.
Just a comment, Mr. Tabor's quoted in the report saying that he's talked to me about getting a smart board for EMA. That's not for EMA, that's for the health department, and it may or may not happen. That's it.
Anyone else? Mrs. Crowe?
So, we've accepted a proposal for new phones, and we're discontinuing our contract with AT&T. So who's gonna be our carrier, or is that part of the proposal?
Rooter has a phone service option. I think it's, $486 a month. So that will be a monthly recurring charge.
So, does that have a name, or is that Wi-Fi, or what is that?
If you're familiar with like phone systems offered by cable television companies, it's that type of VoIP operated system. Does that make sense to you?
Same system that we have in the administrative center right now.
Is that a good system?
It's been in effect here for almost a year now, I believe, and it's been working pretty good. Anybody else? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Awful? Yes. Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Bard?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Okenauer?
Yes.
Crowe? Yes. Curtis?
Yes.
Ducat?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Lynch?
I'll abstain.
McGinnis?
Yes. Okay, Transportation and Highway Committee, Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom will research transportation and highway that they lead to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at Administrative Center on September 10th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Members present were all Young, Ducat, Zumwalt, and McGinnis. Crowe and Johnson were absent. Also present, County Engineer Joe Moore, County Board Chairman John Scher, and John Grosso with Grosso Construction Company. The meeting was called order. There was no public comment. It was moved by Young and seconded by Zumwalt to approve the agenda, motion carried by Judicial. County Engineer Joel Morris opened the bids for aggregate on level board as follows. Grosso Trucking, $44,979. Second one was Grosso Construction Company, $49,830. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by McGinnis to accept the bid from Grosso Trucking in amount of $44,970. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. The claims and financial reports for the month were reviewed. It was moved by Young and seconded by Paul Ducat to pay the bill, sent to the county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. County highway, $108,702. County bridges, $6,818. County hatching, $0. TBT, $39,561. County MFT, $56,384. Township MFT, $506,215. During new business, we engaged an update on the skidster. He had checked with John Deere, Dakota, and Bobcat. The machine was the least expensive. Said he has enough funds in this year's budget to purchase the skidster. In regards to next year's budget, this is a discussion with John Deere about upgrading the backhoe. The current backhoe can be traded in for approximately $45,000, and the new model will be approximately $86,000. Lastly, more plans to trade the bat wing more for a new model. As there was no further business, it was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Ducat to adjourn at 9:27 a.m. Motion carried by both all witnesses. I move to accept this report.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Transportation and Highway Committee report. Is there a second? Mrs. Awful. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Bard?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Okenauer?
Yes.
Crowe?
Yes.
Curtis? Ducat? Hughes? Lynch?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Awful?
Okay, next on our agenda is the approval of the appointments. We have a long list of appointments listed on your agenda in front of you, including the interim animal control administrator and the appointments to the ARPA committee. Motion is by made, Mr. Ducat, to approve those appointments. Is there a second? Mr. Bowers. Are there any questions or comments regarding the appointments? I guess all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is approved. Next is claims. Everybody was sent a copy of the claims. We have a motion to approve the claims. Mr. Young, is there a second? Mr. Duquette. Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt, Barr,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Dolman,
Yes.
Bowers, Okenauer,
Yes.
Crowe. We've got Young, Donna.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Curtis,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Lane, yes. Lynch,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful, yes.
Okay, is there any old business to come before the board this morning? Is there any new business? Mr. Duquette.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Chris Drake and Derek and Clint for letting the county board get a walk through all the new smart watch equipment. That's one of the recognition.
Is there any other new business to come before the board? Mr. McGinnis.
I'm not sure what the county can do, and it's just more for brainstorming, but I think it's appalling how last year our teachers and healthcare workers were all considered heroes, and now many businesses and entities are considering them zeros. In the military, we had a term, you could be hero 1 month and zero next month. Requiring our teachers to pay for their weekly testing, the way Riverside and St. Mary's is treating the workers by not working with them on their concerns about the vaccine mandate, and putting on their form, St. Mary has on their form that they agree to resign if it's denied, and Riverside Hospital treating their nurses and staff that have serious concerns about the vaccine as poor employees. And same thing with the Veteran Affairs. They tout that the veterans come first and that the workers should treat the veterans first. Well, I know several nurses and staff that will be terminated because of the Biden administration's policy. And the VA never asked the veterans what their thoughts were. So I don't know what it is, but I just find it appalling, and this board should come up with ways or think about ways on how to address these issues and how to protect our workers, the teachers in healthcare and what have you, that actually try to take care. And they worked hard last year and they survived, and the students survived. I just think it's just appalling. And I know some of it with the school districts, they have mandates by the governor without any implementing guidance. Myself as a teacher called, as a substitute, how do I request an exemption? And all the districts I called, well, you're not an employee of us, so you can't file it. I called ISBE, and they said, well, we don't have any guidance from the governor on how to do that. So that's another problem is, our governor issues proclamations, but then doesn't give guidance on how to implement it. It's kind of more of a rant, but I fully support our teachers and our healthcare workers and their right to decide what's best for them. And these businesses that serve our communities, it's just appalling and pathetic they would treat their workers that way. And that's all.
My suggestion would be if you have something that can be put in writing, a position you'd like the board to take, you might want to present that to the Policy and Procedure Committee at their next meeting.
Yes, and that's why I kind of raised it. I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
I mean,
So,
I guess I don't have an answer either.
No, that's why I'm raising it.
But your point about being a hero one day and a bum the next, we see that in the sports world every day. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's a sports world. They're not doing anything to society.
That's part of life.
Yeah, our healthcare workers are going to be that way.
Mr. Lynch, did you have something?
Yeah, so on that point, that's what I drove 90 mile an hour to get here this morning. I want to build a resolution to ban mask mandates and vaccine mandates. They're both unconstitutional in my mind. They're both against the freedom of choice that our citizens have the right to choose. And as we've seen, mask mandates, it is only getting worse. It's only going one step farther. And as the local government for this area, we have to stand up. I'm not trying to jump hoops, but I don't want to go through the policy committee. I want to do it right here. I want us to talk about it. I want people to come to me or McGinnis over here who have the same mind and figure out how we can do this and bring it up to the next meeting. Because I'm not on the policy committee, but I have very strong feelings about how this should be done. I think this should be a county board decision, not a policy, not a committee decision. And I think we can get it done in the next meeting.
Well, I guess I could point out to you that the county board is the one that decides finally on everything that's enacted at the committees, but we are a board of committees. And the proper way would be to introduce it at a committee so it can be discussed and put together properly and then brought before the board. And I think that's the procedure that I would strongly recommend that we follow.
That's correct. I mean, it's the right way to do it, to work through a committee. You know, you can bring your proposal to them, and the county board has the final say. I mean, there's been many times where a committee said no, but the county board as a whole said yes.
Yeah.
And vice versa, so it
Yeah,
just helps efficiency.
Yeah, that's understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other new business to come before the board today? Mrs. Crowe?
Did you skip C under appointments? Or
No.
you're not going to do that today?
Yeah.
That was part of it.
It's all part of what the appointments, A, B, and C.
Okay.
I didn't read off all the appointments, but they're all listed on the agenda. It takes up one whole page and more. Actually, parts of all 3 pages.
Oh, it's the line, I'm sorry.
Right. The names for the ARPA committee are on the last page, including yours. Is there any other new business to come before the board? Mr. Lynch?
Yeah, I have one other thing that I guess is more of a gripe on my side.
Yeah, can you speak in the microphone so
Oh, yeah.
everybody can hear you?
Everybody hear me all right?
Yep, that's better.
No, it's not.
I didn't know. Okay, here we go. All right. I have some questions about why the county board meeting is at 9 a.m. on a weekday as opposed to being at, 6 o'clock on a weekday in the afternoon where people can come. I mean, it's easier to go. I questioned this when I first got on the board. I thought it was a little odd that we do it at 9 a.m., whatever. And then after looking into some unrelated things, I found that a majority of the counties do their board meetings at 6 p.m. So why don't we, like Livingston County does, Ford County does, Vermilion County does, McLean County does. We're obviously not as complex as McLean County, and Ford County and even Vermilion County seem to be pretty similar, but I just wondering what the reasoning is why we do ours so early in the morning instead of in the afternoon like everybody else.
The issue's been discussed many times in the past and voted on by the board many times in the past, and it's always been resulted in having the meetings at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. It's been a tradition in this county probably as long as this county has been here. But as to the reason for it, the primary reason is to allow the attendance of the different officials as well as the county board members that have other activities that they'd like to engage in the evening.
I understand that, but what about the people that would like to be on the board that have a 9-to-5 job like the majority of people in the county?
Well, what about people on the board that work in the evening?
I'm talking about the majority of the county. We're here to represent the county as a whole, and the majority of it is 9-to-5 people, not people that work midnight shift, not people that have obligations at 6 p.m.
It's an argument that can go on and on, Mr. Lynch, and we're not going to resolve it here today. It's another item, if you'd like it to be brought up, that you just bring it to the Policy and Procedure Committee and we can discuss it there.
Okay.
And you're welcome to participate in that committee in every sense of the word.
Yeah, no, I misunderstood what you were saying the last time. I'm
Okay.
confused that I didn't even
I
know.
mean, I'll be happy to discuss it further with you after the meeting if you'd like.
No, that's fine. That's just a question I had in my head.
Okay. So any other new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Duquette, seconded by Mrs. Kroll. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The meeting is adjourned.